Next item.
Item 6C, adopt resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Belici and Associates for the design of the Avenues 3-to-1 sewer and water main replacement project in an amount not to exceed $499,092.
Mr. Director, Tam.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. The item in front of you tonight is regards to the award of design contract for the Avenues 3-1 sewer and water main replacement project. The agenda for the presentation is as follows. Today I'll provide a brief background on the project, then I'll provide an overview of the consultant selection and criteria used to select the consultant. Then I'll discuss the scope of work, the budget, and the schedule, and lastly the alternatives and the recommendations. So here's a brief background on how the project evolved. The city completed the water master plan in 2012, and then as well as the sewer master plan in 2014. A 10-year infrastructure improvement work plan was also developed and subsequently approved by the City Council in June 24, 2014. The work plan included addressing issues such as regulatory deadline to complete the sewer capacity projects, replacement of aging and undersized sewer infrastructure to reduce I&I, which stands for infiltration and inflow, replacement of aging undersized water infrastructure to improve the fire flow reliability and reduce pipeline leaks. So based on the considerations, priorities were developed to focus on implementing and completing the sewer capacity projects to meet the regulatory completion deadlines and replacing old infrastructure in the downtown area and surrounding neighborhoods. So the Avenue 3-1 sewer and water main replacement project was identified as one of the projects in the work plan. The primary purpose of the project is to reduce the risk of sanitary sewer overflows and improve the reliability of the water system. The slide shows the location of the areas for the Avenues 3-1 project. The area is bounded by Keynes, Genevieve Avenue, El Camino, and San Mateo Avenue. All the streets where the pipelines will be replaced are indicated on a list there, which are along the east of El Camino. The project will replace about 7,900 feet of water pipelines and 7,100 feet of sewer pipelines. And both water and sewer pipelines are being replaced at the same time to minimize construction impacts to the public. Once the construction of the pipelines are completed, the roadway will be resurfaced. And completion of the project will provide the residents with a more reliable water and sewer service to prevent future water leaks and sewer overflows and improved roadway surface. So to select the consultant for the project, staff issued the request for proposal in January, and the city received a total of 5 proposals for the project. Then these proposals were evaluated on the criteria such as the project understanding, whether the firm understood the overall project and the scope of the work, scope of the project, and qualifications and experience of the project manager and the team, qualifications of the firm relating to whether they have experience with the design of sewer and water infrastructure, and the firm's experience with design and construction of projects within the residential corridors. We also reviewed the manpower allocations for labor effort to determine how it compares to other firms in order to determine whether the firm can effectively and efficiently complete the project. Although the city is not required to consider cost as a criteria in the selection process, the cost of design services were reviewed. The cost proposals range from $405,000 to $600,000. A couple of the lower cost firms didn't include information in their proposal regarding the work that was required as part of the scope of work. Therefore their costs were lower than other firms. And some didn't provide a detailed scope of work as well. Based on the evaluation, staff is recommending to award the contract to Belici and Associates, and this firm has completed similar projects for the city of Berkeley, Millbrae, Sunnyvale, and as well as San Bruno. And for San Bruno, the firm completed the design of the Keynes and San Mateo Avenue sewer bypass project, as well as the Crystal Springs Road sewer replacement project. The Keynes Avenue and San Mateo Avenue bypass project was completed in 2015, and the Crystal Springs Road sewer replacement project is currently under construction. As for the scope of work and schedule for the project, these are the list of various scope of work that are needed for the design of the pipelines, and it includes performing site investigation, evaluating alignment alternatives, geotechnical investigation to determine the soil type, groundwater table level, and soil resistivity for corrosion, potholing and surveying, corrosion design, completing detailed final design and preparing bid documents, and also providing construction support services. So as for the project schedule, it is currently anticipated that the project design and construction will take approximately 10 months each. And as for the fiscal impact budget, the project is an established CIP project in the water and sewer main improvement replacement program. The cost for this contract is $499,000. It's within the total budget of $600,000 available in the fiscal year 2018-19 budget. So therefore no additional appropriation is being requested. So there are a couple of alternatives in the staff report if the council chooses not to award the project tonight. First is to direct further review of the submitted proposals for selection of different firm from the proposals. As previously mentioned, staff selected the firm based on the criteria to evaluate the proposals and believe Bellici & Associates is the best firm for the project. The second alternative is to request staff to issue a new RFPs, request for proposals. Since the city received 5 proposals, and we don't anticipate obtaining any additional proposals from different firms on this project. So therefore, the recommendation by staff is for the council to move forward with the project, which is to authorize the city manager to execute a contract or agreement with the Bellici & Associates for the design of this project. This concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for staff? More, Marty?
Ladies first.
No questions. No questions.
Marty?
Yes, please. 3 things. So when we mention roadway resurfacing, are we talking about trench, T-cut, repaving, resurface? Or are we talking about entire street width?
Entire street width.
So that's huge.
Correct.
Right? People have been asking about, hey, when's my street going to get repaved? Well, you kind of have to wait for the work to get done where you replace the water and the sewer underneath. Otherwise, you're doing the work twice. So thank you for that. The next question is regarding the sewer laterals. Where are we with requiring the property owner to address the upper sewer lateral? Because we take care of the lower sewer lateral. Or is that the latest change? I don't remember.
No, I believe the council back in 2015 transferred the lower laterals to the property owners. So the maintenance and the repair and responsibility of the lower laterals is not within the city's within the city's jurisdiction.
So a scenario could be we're replacing the main and we come up to a sewer lateral and we're like, wow, that one's messed up. Are we videoing each of them as we go along to kind of make sure that we don't have a situation where the property owner goes, well, you guys damaged it. It's been operating fine. How is that going to work? Where if we identify a damaged sewer lateral and then we're going to tell the property owner, hey, you're responsible for this repair. And at that point, since our contractor's there, right in the street, do they have the option to utilize, maybe that's for later on when we deal with the actual construction side, but I just kind of want to have an understanding of where that's going to flow when it comes down to making that determination of replacing the sewer lateral.
So what we've done for the 2 projects, the recent 2 projects, the First Avenue sewer replacement project, as well as the Crystal Springs sewer replacement project, we sent letters to the residents along the location where the pipelines are being replaced to request them to televise their laterals to determine whether they want to participate in the replacement of the sewer lateral. So we would provide the bid is structured to request the contractor to provide a bid for the replacement of those sewer laterals, and whatever that cost of that bid item is for replacement is passed on to the homeowners if they're interested in replacing the sewer lateral. If not, there's nothing that we can really do to force the resident to replace the laterals if they don't participate in the program.
Okay. And did we have good success with our recent I guess, requests for them to video, or we had any problems with any of those residents that had an issue with the sewer lateral? Everything's been good, or how did it work?
For the First Avenue Sewer Project, there was only one resident that participated. For the recent Crystal Springs project, there were 3 residents that participated in the program.
Okay. My last question, I'm sorry. In your presentation, it mentioned corrosion design, and does that mean that they're going to go to ductile iron pipe, or is it an option for the designer to come up with what's best, because there's very little corrosion. There's no corrosion for PVC pipe, and it's a lot cheaper to install and maintain, repair. I'm just wondering, are we giving the designer the freedom to choose which materials the pipe is?
The design for the water pipeline will be PVC, and with PVC pipelines, at the fittings, there will have to be a cast iron, a ductile iron fitting, right? So ductile iron fittings are used as for horizontal and vertical bends, and at the street intersections, we install a T or a cross depending on the intersection, and with 3 or 4 valves, right? At a cross we would install 4 valves. At a T we would install 3 valves, and at those clusters, there will need to be some corrosion.
Right.
Cathodic protection design.
Right, sacrificial anodes.
Correct.
Right.
And so that's part of the
Okay.
the work.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, great. That's it. Thank you.
With no other questions or comments, or Vice Mayor?
I was just reminded what Council Member Medina was saying. I know that at the recent fires in Paradise and Camp, I'm looking at you because you told me about them. Some of the cities did have PVC pipes for their piping, and during the fires, pardon me?
Santa Rosa.
The pipes melted because of the fires, and so the water was, they had no access to the water. So I don't know if we've looked into that, if that's something we shouldn't be doing. I'm looking at a member of the audience who had informed me of this recently, so I don't know if he wants to make a comment about it or not. No? Okay. Anyway, it triggered my memory, and so I was a little concerned about it.
It's okay. No, it's good. It's a good comment.
Director, any?
Yeah, we were aware of the PVC pipe situations in those 2 cities, and it's a cost issue too, right? And so we only have a limited amount of budget, and we have a lot of areas of water mains to replace too. And then with ductile iron pipe, it costs a lot more. It could be twice as much as what we're paying for with PVC pipeline. So that's something that we can continue to evaluate. And there are other pipe materials that are available, like high density polyethylene for water pipelines as well. But I know that most agencies they have used PVC quite a bit on water mains replacement projects, and we'll continue to evaluate for ours.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions? If not action, this is the director's asking for a resolution.
So I'll introduce the resolution.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Melissa?
Councilmember Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Medina?
Aye.
Councilmember Salazar?
Aye.
Vice Mayor O'Connell?
Aye.
Mayor Medina?
Aye.